Hi, my name is Professor Ron Dorn. I'm a physical geographer at Arizona State University, and the purpose of my presentation is to give you an overview of the GPH112 Session C course that you're enrolled in. So I'm going to do screen sharing right now. Take a second here for it to be enabled. And there's three pieces to my screen that I'm sharing with you in explaining the course. The first is a PowerPoint presentation made for the in overviewing the syllabus and the course for the GPH 112 course for Session C. This is a 15-week course. Then there's the Canvas module as seen in the student view. And then there's the views of the video games that you're going to be playing in the lower left part of the screen. So I'll follow basically the PowerPoint presentation and supplement it with these other pieces of my screen. First thing I'd like to emphasize is that this is a 15-week lab course. It's not a half session or 5.5-week course. It's designed for the on-ground students who, in this case, are taking a ASU Sync or an online, hopefully in-person view of the lab. So this is a presentation for the COVID-19 fall semester 2020, and I'll explain how the course is going to work in the ASU Sync idea, in which you can be either fully online or a mixture of on-ground tutorials, and we'll see how it actually rolls out. But this will give you an overview of what we're planning. There are two different Canvas sites. Uh, there's one for the GPH 112 course that you're taking. It might be my course. If you're taking my GPH 111 course, you're taking that course in a 7.5-week format. You can certainly, if you're an on-ground student, take the different formats. The only idea is that these two courses must be either taken together or you must have had the physical geography 3-credit course before, and then you're allowed to enroll in 112. It really doesn't matter whether you take this course at the same time as 111 or after. All the labs are self-contained. We assume that you're either learning the material in the same session or you may have learned it several years ago. So everything is self-contained, giving you the background you need in this no prerequisite course. The materials for this course is that there's no textbook to buy. If you're taking the course in the fall of 2020 in Session C, there's no lab manual to buy. Normally, if there's an on-ground lab, there would be a lab manual, a physical lab manual, but we can't do that in COVID-19 because the labs share equipment, and we don't have enough equipment just for you individually, and then to be able to clean them sufficiently between lab sessions. So instead of the lab manual, you're going to be purchasing geovisualizations or video games that enable you to complete the laboratory. And the cost of these games is the same as the lab manual. In other words, all the video games together, they're $15 each. It's equivalent to purchasing the book lab manual. You have to use a laptop or a desktop computer for these games. Phones and tablets will not work. They require Macs or Windows operating systems. And I'll explain how you get the instructions on how to purchase and download these games in the Canvas module. So in this Canvas module, this is the home page that you jump to. And in the Jump To homepage, you get a list of the team that you're going to be having to help you in this course. Then at the end of this, you get a navigation tool in which you jump to a Start To page, the syllabus page, how you purchase the games, how you play the games, tutorials, discussion board, grades, how to contact us, and then the labs themselves. I actually prefer the navigation in Canvas to the modules. What's in the graphic there is cute, but it sends you to the same place as these modules. There's a welcome and start here module in which there's the welcome page, then there's the start here page, and most importantly, you must take the syllabus quiz before you can do anything else in the class. So you have to listen to this presentation, read the syllabus, and get 100% on the syllabus quiz to be able to move on in the course. And you can repeat the syllabus quiz many times until you reach 100%. There's also an assignment in which you can tell me and your laboratory instructor about yourself. It's a survey and it's an optional survey, but we like to learn about you so we can help you better. In this welcome module, there's how do you purchase the geovisualization games and how do you play them and how to get help in this class. And then this is a link that I set up just to allow you to know when you reach an A+ in this course. I'll explain the grading system and why this sort of a page is necessary. Then there's a module on getting help, centralized video resources. So the video resources are more help on what do you do before you play the game in terms of purchasing a visualization, more about playing the different visualizations, and then there are video sections for each of the game-based labs. There's also, so the organization of this page is there's before you try a lab, the Hawaii lab, the Lightning, the San Francisco Peaks lab, the Grand Canyon microclimate, the Grand Canyon topography, and then assignments for more points. So these are the materials you need to buy for the game. I'd like to review the roles of the instructor. I am the coordinator of all of the GPH111 and 112 courses. The different labs are run and taught by different teams. The idea is for you to get your money's worth. ASU is a state-of-the-art university, and it's important to us that these labs are at the forefront of education. So there's an instructor who's teaching the lab, and then there's a whole team that is working on the lab. For this fall version of the course, I am technically your instructor, but I have a team of 4 PhD students who will be running Zoom tutorials in the scheduled time slots for the labs. So you'll have a separate instructor for the time slot that you signed up for. And if on-ground instruction is allowed, it'll probably be in a room that's large to allow social distancing. Your lab instructor will be in the front of the classroom with a big screen showing you how to do the lab with the video game in Canvas, and you'll be in your seats and you'll be able to ask questions in this environment. You'll be able to say, I'm having trouble installing the game on my computer because I don't know how to extract the files once I unzip them in my Windows system. And somebody else may say, I'm having trouble sending you a screenshot. I don't know how to take a screenshot. And that person may be watching this presentation on Zoom. So the idea is we're going to have multiple instructors for the different on-ground labs. And the idea is that these Zoom sessions will be advertised for all of you, and you can pick any one of them to get Zoom tutorial help to do the labs. But technically, I am the instructor of record for the fall 2020 COVID-19 version of this ASU Sync class. So in terms of contacting us and getting help, I'm the point of contact for everybody in this class. But what I strongly recommend you do is to email everybody you see in this welcome page. There's myself. For the first half of the session, there will be Yuban Lee who will help. And then there'll be Aldo, Philip, and Maddie will be handling the on-ground sessions at the different time slots, running Zoom sessions on ground and online. There are also peer tutors. So if you have a question, don't send it by Canvas messaging. Canvas messaging just is a mess. I want you to send it through your regular email account or your ASU email account if you need to discuss grades, and send it to all of us. Everybody you see here listed in email, send it to your question to all of us, and that way whoever gets to your email first can hit reply all and get you the help. In Canvas messaging, reply all doesn't work. So when I answer your email through Canvas messaging, I have to go, I sigh, I wish they would have followed instructions. Oh, I need to send that back to you via regular email so I can add everybody to the email chain so they know I answered your question. Please don't send us emails on Canvas messaging. Also, if you have a general question, posting it to the discussion board is the best way for everybody to benefit. The navigation for the course in Canvas is a mixture of whatever you like. If you like these graphic buttons, go for it. If you like to see the way the course is laid out, the way we created it, there is the welcome and start here, the modules that you see, and then the games in the order that we suggest you do them. The Hawaii game, lightning in the peaks, microclimates and vegetation of the Grand Canyon, and why is the Grand Canyon so grand? We want you to do these in order. The due dates for these labs will be every 3 weeks. This will be, you need to complete these assignments by the end of the 3rd week, this by the end of the 6th week, this by the end of the 9th week, and this by the end of the 12th week. You can certainly work ahead. Once you have finished all these button assignments, you are then eligible to do these assignments of conducting research for a future vacation and earn more points. See, 51 points is needed for an A in this course. Each one of these labs has 20 points available. So let's add it up, 20, 40, 60, 80, and then each one of these extra assignments have 10 more points. So there's 110 points on the plate for you to potentially earn 51 to reach an A+. So let me jump back to the everything is in the modules that I just reviewed and the due dates. So with the due dates for labs being every 3 weeks for the 4 game labs, if you get behind, please don't. We think it's quite flexible to have you do the assignments every 3 weeks to stay on track. This will enable you to have a basic pacing guide where you earn the 45 points, hopefully by the end of week 12. And if you don't, you'll have the time to earn more points in the tour of Hawaii and the tour of Arizona. The key to failing this class is getting behind, and that's the reason for the due dates for the individual labs. I urge you to pause the presentation if you're wanting to ask a question. Why are you even taking a laboratory science class? And why does this class meet the laboratory science requirement? There are all the words here that go into the explanation for why the class is important and the rationale for the course, but you don't have to listen to me read it to you. So the grades in summary are a point accumulation system. The point accumulation system is confusing to some students who are used to having percentages. I'm a believer that when you take a test or you take a quiz and you do poorly on it and you earn a poor percentage, it's a punch to the gut and it's hard to recover. But in this system, if you do poorly on a lab that you're really not getting the idea behind it, well, this is college. This course has no prerequisites, but you're learning a bunch of things at the same time. You're learning a computer program that's a video game. You're learning how to do lab sciences, and you're learning the science content itself. So it's just okay for you to not do well on the first lab, earn some points, and then you'll get momentum and pick up the pace on the other labs that you'll be doing, and you'll get a really great, I hope, momentum going so you'll finish the course strong, I hope with an A+. A point accumulation system means that the perspective that having curves to limit the number of good grades is unethical. If you meet the learner objectives for this class by accumulating points, you should deserve an A. But students get confused because they see on Canvas this out of information that you earned 1 out of 2.5 or 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 11.5 on your first lab. And they get and you see percentage information, and you email us and you say, I'm confused, I see this on Canvas. I can't get rid of this information on Canvas, so I need you to please ignore it and only deal with the accumulation of points. You need 25 points to pass with a D, 32.5 points to reach a C, 40 for a B, 45 for an A, and 51 for an A+. I'll let you pause the presentation and review the key syllabus points, but I'll also encourage you to simply read the syllabus in detail, and then you'll have to pass the syllabus quiz after you read the syllabus. You can take the quiz many times, and it's also another way for you to learn about the rules behind the course. A big question that students ask is, why are we using these games? Why are we using geovisualizations? The reason is that we want you to move beyond the boring fill in the blank lab answers that exist in other courses and perhaps what you did in high school. We want you to be able to see what real physical geography scientific research is, where we explore spatial data to answer questions. Physical geography is a spatial science. We look for the processes that explain the patterns, and these games allow you to do both in a no prerequisite course. The research we've done indicates it's a powerful way for you to learn science. Now, some of you are actually parents, or some of you have younger siblings. If you play video games, piece of cake, you'll chuckle at my presentations. If you don't play video games, get your child to help you, or get a younger child in your family who plays video games to help you, or maybe you have a niece or a nephew. What I'm saying is you can get somebody to play the game while you take notes and do the lab. They can learn a little bit about science. You can interact with them, enrich their lives, and you can get help. So what are the games? Well, I have some screenshots to kind of illustrate it. The Hawaii game deals with all aspects of physical geography, where this is a Landsat layer where you can look at the vegetation. And this is on the eastern side of the Big Island. This is the Mauna Kea volcano. And the avatar is right here in this big gully, running up the gully to the top of this ravine that ends in a waterfall. So you'll learn about these deep canyons that are made. You'll learn about patterns of rainfall, where this is the isohyot map, or the rainfall map that matches the Landsat map. And you can see the greatest area of intense precipitation is at an elevation of about 2,000, 1,700 meters, and then it gets drier below and drier above. So you'll learn about the orographic effect of the trade winds rising up the mountain and raining out, and you'll learn about why it's so dry on top of the volcanoes from the trade wind inversion, and why it's so dry on the backside of the volcanoes from the rain shadow effect. So that's the Hawaii game, the first one up. The second game is Lightning in the Peaks. And the idea of this one is that you're taken to northern Arizona and the San Francisco peaks in the surrounding region. And cloud to ground lightning strikes from August are mapped. So you're looking at all the August cloud to ground lightning strikes are mapped, and you can see the location. So in this place, the avatar is standing right here. This is a Google Street View of where right here is. You can see the latitude and longitude is 35.2971 and west 111.7180. That's the same as this location on the Snowball Road, where you can see a thunderstorm building. So you'll learn about, excuse You'll learn about one way that you get thunderstorms to create a cluster of lightning strikes from what's called upslope winds, and you'll learn about other ways to do it, and you'll do research on patterns of lightning strikes. The microclimates of the Grand Canyon game has you interact with the topography. So this is a place called Cedar Ridge, which is a trail down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. And the avatar is standing on Cedar Ridge. But the avatar is standing on the digital elevation model map, which has a resolution of 10 meters for the grid cells. And it's standing on summer 10 a.m. temperatures. And you'll notice that one side of Cedar Ridge is cooler and the other side of Cedar Ridge is warmer. And you'll learn about why these patterns exist, why the center platforms in the Grand Canyon are just heat accumulation devices. You'll also look at wintertime temperatures and the vegetation of the Grand Canyon, all in an attempt to interpret the patterns you see. The last game is, why is the Grand Canyon so grand? And this is a game that overlays the geologic map of the Grand Canyon on top of the topography. So the avatar is standing at a duck view location on the south rim of the Grand Canyon. So I went to Google Street Views, showed you what this spot looks like at the same location of what it looks like in the game, where you can interpret the geology, where the avatar is standing on the Kaibab limestone and looking down at the Toroweap, the Hermit, the Red Wall, and other formations in the Grand Canyon that you'll learn about. You'll learn about how fast the Grand Canyon is cutting down and how fast it's widening up. So you'll be able to travel to places that would take you days to hike to, or days to raft down, to get views of what the geologists call an unconformity of very old rocks that have been eroded to a flat surface with flatline rocks deposited on top. And this is where the avatar is, looking at this unconformity in this view of the Grand Canyon. So this lab assumes no prior background knowledge on your part. The labs provide everything you need and give you every opportunity in the world to earn an A+. So I'm going to skip this one about orientation because I just did provide it. I'm going to remind you that there are due dates for the 4 big labs. I'm going to remind you that when you ask a question, I recommend that you post the question about a lab to the discussion board that is, in this case, it's troubleshooting video games, and another one it might be about the Lightning Lab. We want you to take a screenshot of what you're working on, not the question in Canvas, but the general issue. And when you take a screenshot, don't use your phone. Go to YouTube and ask for help on how to use your computer to learn how to take a screenshot, load it up to discussion board, and we'll help you and other students as well. So this is the last slide for me to review. I want to tell you that 5% of the students in this class will fail because they ignored the class. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, and they ignore the final due date for the labs. They ignored the final due date at the top of the syllabus. Don't let it happen to you. Second, don't bother about asking for extra credit. There's no such thing in this class. The entire class is just a way to earn more points. 110 points are possible. 51 you need to reach an A+. Ignore the percentage and out of information you see in the Canvas gradebook. If you have problems with the class, ask for help early. If you're frustrated, heck, schedule a Zoom tutorial or go to the Zoom sessions that are scheduled for the different ground labs, or log on online via Zoom. Get help. If you're having problems with your laptop, we can't help you. We're not experts in how your computer works. We can help you with the games, we can help you with the labs, but you need to call the ASU help desk if you're having personal problems with your computer, because we don't know how your computer works. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I apologize for its length.